All right, I'm going to do a little instructional video on how to use the Jeopardy sheet. So it looks like this, and when you're in this mode of Jeopardy, it gives you the regular Jeopardy dollar amounts at the top. And if you go to Double Jeopardy, it automatically changes the dollar amounts. Obviously, you'd be down here in the second category, the Double Jeopardy category. And then when you go to Final Jeopardy, it brings up the Final Jeopardy question. So to bring up a question after you would have typed them in previously, you click on the arrow, select the question, and up it comes. So let's say Kathleen gets this one right. We'll just put a K there. And let's say this one, Kathleen gets it wrong, or Kathleen doesn't guess, and Natalie guesses. And let's say this one, it's a daily double. Now if it's a daily double, then you go down here to the daily double, and you bring up that daily double question. And let's say MB gets it. And we're at the 800. This here, let's say Steve Mihawk gets it. And the 1001, let's say Kathleen gets it wrong, so we write negative K for negative Kathleen. So if we go across to where the dollar amounts are, you can see that Kathleen had 200 plus the negative 1,000 that she had from getting that one wrong. So it automatically sums her amount. Same with Mary Beth's, Natalie, Steve, and so on. I'll just move over a little bit. And let's say Phil gets that. You can see it automatically change over here. And Randall gets that one. So it automatically changes in there. And Natalie gets that one, it automatically changes. So that essentially shows you how it works. So if no one guesses on a question, you can just leave the question up. You don't have to put anything in it. I suppose you could put an X there or something just to make it gone. But probably just as easy to leave the question there if no one guesses it. Now, let's delete all the values in those cells. And let's say you're setting up Jeopardy. These are easy. You just type in a new category and there it is. In here, where you have the data validation selection, all you need to do is go up to Data, which is right here, Data Validation. And because everything's set up, all you need to do is come into here and change the question to, this is a new question. Isn't it? So I put a comma there, and I'll show you what happens if you put a comma in. If you put a comma in, it thinks these are two different items, and it won't display them as one question. And so that's the only downside to the data validation, is that instead of putting in a comma, you need to put something else in. Now I was just putting a semicolon in because it's close. So we'll delete the data that was in there, and now I bring that question up and it has isn't it with the semicolon. Sorry, and obviously before you bring up the Double Jeopardy question, whoever chose that would have to place their bet. So if they Mary Beth got it, she bet $1,000 or $100, or if she didn't get it correct and bet $100 minus $100, you put in whatever value in that proper field. Scrolling down to Double Jeopardy, all the principles are the same. The only things that are different would be people would send you the Double Jeopardy, or excuse me, the Final Jeopardy bets And after everyone had put their question in or answer in, you could then put the amounts in, whether it was positive or negative, so on. So that's essentially how it works. Now, the only other thing, I guess, is the daily double. So when I click on daily double, it brings it up daily double, because that's the data validation list item is daily double, and the actual question is here. And it has what's called conditional formatting on it. So that is under the format drop down, under conditional formatting. And this one, if the daily double was in a different cell, we'd have to delete that one. And let's say this cell was the daily double. Under data validation, we would need to write daily double, so that when we select that, it says daily double. Do you need to make it go red? No, you don't. But if you want it to go red, it's just as easy as format, conditional formatting, this range. If the cell is not empty, let's make it red. Done. So now, if something goes into that cell, it turns red. So that's how you make it turn red if you want. And the last thing for adjusting is the Final Jeopardy question. So Final Jeopardy is just an if statement. If A2 equals Final Jeopardy, then print Final Jeopardy in that cell. So this is cell A2, Final Jeopardy. So the same thing for the actual question. If cell A2, this one here, says Final Jeopardy, then print this in the cell. And if it's not A2 equaling Final Jeopardy, then quote, quote, don't print anything in that cell. So if you want to change the question in that cell, all you have to do is click on the cell, select the text between the quotes, that is the question, and write my new question. Oh, I messed something up there, but here, sorry, I just need to select the text for the question. New question. And then if it's in either Jeopardy or Double Jeopardy, that doesn't show up. So it only shows up when this cell says Final Jeopardy. So that is how you set it up, how you use it, how you modify and adjust things, and as I said, it'll automatically total people's dollar amounts for you. So that's a little addition that I added. So you just need to add their first initial into the cell, and it'll automatically calculate the amounts. Or if it's a negative value, or if they didn't get the question right, it's a negative value, just write negative K, negative MB, and so on. So that is how to use the Jeopardy sheet.